Hi there. I hope you've had a lovely day. It's been a bit cold here, but it's not raining. So here I am outside ready to read to you today. And I'm going to read John Brown, Rose, and the Midnight Cat by Ron Brooks. Actually, illustrated by Ron Brooks, but story by Jenny Wagner. Rose's husband died a long time ago, and now she lived with her dog. His name was John Brown. John Brown loved Rose, and he looked after her in every way that he could. In summer, he sat underneath the pear tree with her. In winter, he watched as she dozed by the fire, and all year round he kept her company. "We're all right, John Brown," said Rose. "Just the two of us, you and me." One night Rose looked out of the window and she saw something move in the garden. "What's that in the garden, John Brown?" asked Rose. John Brown would not look. "Out there," said Rose. "I think it's a cat." "I don't see any cat," said John Brown. "I'm sure it's a cat. Go and see if you can give it some milk." "There's nobody there," said John Brown. But that night, when Rose was safe in bed, John Brown went outside. He drew a line around the house and told the Midnight Cat to stay away. "We don't need you, cat," he said. "We are all right, Rose and I." The next day, Rose saw the Midnight Cat as he slipped through the shadow of the pear tree. Look, there he is, John Brown," she said. "Don't you see him now?" But John Brown closed his eyes. Rose sighed and packed up her knitting. Then she wound up the clock and took the milk bottles out, and John Brown followed her. "I'm sure there's no cat," he said. But Rose saw the Midnight Cat often after that. Every night, when John Brown was not looking, she put out a bowl of milk. And every night, when Rose wasn't looking, John Brown tipped it out. "You don't need a cat," he said. "You've got me." One night, the Midnight Cat jumped up at the window and rubbed his back against the glass. His eyes were like lamps, and his fur shone against the ragged sky. "Look, John Brown," said Rose. "Isn't he beautiful? Get up and let him in." "No," said John Brown, and pulled the curtain shut. "No, I won't let him in." The next morning Rose did not get up. John Brown waited in the kitchen for his breakfast, but nothing happened. He went to see what was wrong. "I'm sick," said Rose, "and I'm staying in bed." "All day?" said John Brown. "All day and forever," said Rose. John Brown thought. He thought all through lunchtime. And when supper time came, he was still thinking. An hour past supper time, he went back to Rose and woke her gently. "Would the midnight cat make you better?" asked John Brown. "Oh, yes," said Rose, "that's just what I want." John Brown went out to the kitchen and opened the door, and the midnight cat came in. Then Rose got up and sat by the fire for a while, and the midnight cat sat on the arm of the chair. And purred. Do you have a cat that purrs? We have Tiny Cat, and Tiny Cat purrs and purrs and purrs, but she doesn't like little people all that much, does she? Love you. Bye.